Oh, that's cute. Another little farming game. You've got a dog companion. Oh, oh my. This is one of those games, isn't it? Well, I'm sure it doesn't go that in depth, it's not rocket science. Wait, is that? Yep, Little Rocket Lab is the cutest factory automation game out there, and it goes deep. Your overarching goal is to build an entire rocket from scratch, and along the way, explore your childhood hometown and help out the people living there. The game has a beta test going on right now, and you can try it out for yourself by visiting the developer's Discord server, which I've linked below. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss out on this. So this combination of genres actually fits so well, and I think both fans of games like Stardew and games like Satisfactory will find a lot to love. It offers more, I would say, incentives and story reasons to be doing all this work in the first place, a more guided experience than your typical automation game, but it doesn't sacrifice any depth to do so. You're not just plopping down a few conveyor belts here and there. Oh no, you've got to mine the ore by hand at first until you research the drill. Then into the smelter where you can turn your ingots into basic parts. Then you've got your tier 2 items like this assembler that combines 2 inputs to create the next level of parts. And of course, you've got to power it all. Windmills will do the trick, but if you have more machines than power, your whole operation will stop. Or take a stroll into town, maybe visit the bakery, the lighthouse, or the university. Here you can research new equipment and items by delivering the correct parts, so then you'll be able to make even more parts, deliver those, and so on. The beta does a great job at introducing you to all these systems while also giving you the freedom to experiment and come up with your own solutions. It may seem like a lot at first to those of you who never played a factory game, but you'll be right at home if you have, and you'll catch up in no time if not. You play as Morgan, returning to her hometown after a decade or so, only to find the place in disarray. Our aunt, who is so graciously hosting us, gives Morgan the rundown and reminds us how some of this automation stuff works. Our first goal is to repair a little robot companion named Pico, which is a nice and easy goal that gets you familiar with all the basics. We then proceed to break into the silo where our aunt's old rocket project is located. Some of the electronics are broken and need, you guessed it, more parts. After gathering them, we're finally able to convince our aunt that we should continue to build the rocket. She was reluctant to keep working on it after Morgan's mom and her building buddy passed away. Sometime during all of this, we also befriend probably the cutest dog I've ever seen in a game, Leo, who Morgan can play fetch with whenever she wants. The town's also full of NPCs from our past who need our help now, rebuilding the place, delivering items, and so on. For some reason, they need a massive network of conveyor belts to do so, but I'm not going to question it. Or the fact that 2 people are going to build an entire rocket. This is where the beta ends, although you can still explore further than I did, doing more side quests and meeting everyone in the town. I'm gonna save all that for the full game's release. No date yet, but it is supposed to come out in 2025. I'll also make a better factory than this, don't worry. As for improvements that I think could make Little Rocket Lab a tiny bit better, I'd like for the option to hide quest objectives. The left side of the screen can get pretty full and can kind of weigh down on you, all the different things you have to do when you just want to go out and explore. Also, some sort of crafting shortcut, maybe a button to more quickly recraft whatever it was that you made last, instead of having to go back into this menu. Or a dedicated hammer button. You use it a lot to break apart old machines and move stuff around, and each time you do so you have to scroll through your whole inventory to get to it. So maybe there are a couple small quality of life things that could use tweaking, but other than that, Little Rocket Lab is kinda like the perfect game. It's much less daunting than Satisfactory, which I ultimately bounced off of just due to the sheer amount of work I knew I'd have to put into the game in order to complete it. But there's still a ton of depth and complexity here, and the bright pixel art makes all your little assembly lines look so neat and tidy. And now, I think it's time for me to blast off.